Welcome adventurers, explorers, and purists of the authentic off-road experience. In a world saturated with sleek, luxurious SUVs that boast more screens than actual off-road capability, there remains a beacon of true utilitarian heritage. Today, we're setting our sights on a vehicle that defines rugged simplicity, a machine whose very silhouette conjures images of remote expeditions, untamed landscapes, and perhaps even royalty navigating the vast African plains. We're talking, of course, about the legendary Land Rover. For generations, particularly in less developed corners of our planet, the first automobile many people ever witnessed was not a glamorous sedan or a powerful truck, but a sturdy, boxy Land Rover, valiantly bouncing over unimaginable terrain. This isn't just folklore. It's a testament to their unparalleled design philosophy. These original series Land Rovers were built for purpose, rugged, disarmingly simple, and crucially, if not always perfectly reliable, then at least remarkably easy to mend with whatever scraps and ingenuity you had on hand. They were the trusty steed for anyone daring to explore far-off lands, much like the plinth helmet and khaki shorts often worn by their intrepid drivers. The design of the series Land Rover has, over the decades, become absolutely iconic. A shape so enduring that it's been endlessly imitated, yet never truly replicated in character. And while modern vehicles may draw inspiration, you simply cannot beat the raw charm and authentic spirit of an original. Which brings us to today's star, this magnificent 1970 Land Rover Series IIA, recently featured for online auction on Bring a Trailer. This isn't just a vehicle, it's a meticulously restored slice of history, offering that stripped-down, old-school 4x4 experience that purists crave. From its unmistakable inboard headlights and rugged auxiliary jerry cans to its classic canvas roof, this Landie has everything you could ever want in a vintage expedition vehicle. It's the kind of machine that effortlessly transforms even a routine drive to pick up takeout into an exhilarating, small-scale expedition. Get ready to embark on a journey into true automotive authenticity. 70 Land Rover Series II on Bring a Trailer is authentically old school. This vintage Landie is like something Queen Elizabeth II would have driven. Why buy an SUV inspired by classic Land Rovers when you can have the real deal? Offered for online auction by Bring a Trailer, this 1970 Land Rover Series II offers a stripped-down, old-school 4x4 experience, yet with overdrive it can also be driven on the highway. There are a few modern touches including a Marshall speaker, and even cup holders. Update: this Land Rover sold on April 30th for $4,250. There's no real way to prove it as a fact, but it is said that for many people in less developed countries, the first automobile they ever saw was a boxy Land Rover bouncing over rough terrain. Rugged, simple, and if not terribly reliable, then at least easy to repair with whatever you had on hand, the original series Land Rovers were well suited for exploring far-off lands, much like the plinth helmet and khaki shorts often worn by their drivers. The design of the series Land Rover has become iconic and much imitated, but you can't beat the character and charm of an original. Something like this 1970 Land Rover Series IIA up for auction on Bring a Trailer, which, like Car and Driver, is part of Hearst Autos. It's been comprehensively restored and has everything you want in a vintage Landie, from iconic inboard headlights to auxiliary jerry cans to a canvas roof. This is the type of vehicle that turns even a normal drive to get takeout into an expedition. The idea that Land Rover is now a luxury brand would bring a brief bark of laughter from anyone who owned a series Landie in period. They are the automotive equivalent of a Wellington boot, although occasionally less waterproof. The later series, the III, was a little less agricultural, but this IIA is unapologetic about its basic roots, with all manner of exposed metal, rivets, wing nuts holding the windshield on, and a series of levers controlling the transfer case. Some, Modern conveniences have been grafted onto this classic, such as a Marshall speaker and a custom cup holder arrangement. The original owner of this Land Rover would have no idea what to do with a cup holder, but it's nice to have a place to put your water bottle. The 2.3-liter inline-four made a little over 70 horsepower and put that power to the ground through a 4-speed manual gearbox with overdrive and a 2-speed transfer case. The seller here notes that the vehicle will cruise at 60 mph and that the transfer case does leak a bit. All vintage Land Rovers leak. It's how you know they have fluids in them. Beyond the general charms, the appeal here is the exacting and, frankly, exhausting level of restoration performed. This example has a new frame, an overhauled powertrain from gearbox to axles, fresh brakes, a stainless steel exhaust, rebuilt instrumentation, and a host of extras from specialist Rovers North. Judging from pictures of the underside, you'd think it was brand new. As it's so thoroughly overhauled, this could very well be the one true, reliable Series II Land Rover out there. But that's not really what's lovely about a Landie. The appeal is in driving a vehicle that needs a certain level of mechanical sympathy and a handiness with a spanner. They are such simple machines that it's easy enough to diagnose the latest stumble and then sort it out yourself, with the type of self-sufficiency that you might have needed to cross the Kalahari or navigate the Amazon jungle. As our journey with the 1970 Land Rover Series IIA concludes, it's impossible not to feel a profound appreciation for its unique place in automotive history. The very idea of Land Rover as a luxury brand today would undoubtedly elicit a knowing chuckle, or perhaps even a brief bark of laughter from anyone who owned or relied on a Series Landie back in its heyday. These vehicles were, and remain, the automotive equivalent of a sturdy Wellington boot, incredibly practical, resilient, and built for work, albeit occasionally and charmingly less waterproof than their footwear counterparts. While later models like the Series III might have been slightly less agricultural, this Series IIA unapologetically embraces its basic utilitarian roots. Every element speaks of function: exposed metal, visible rivets, even wing nuts holding the windshield in place, and a series of rugged levers controlling the transfer case. It's a mechanical symphony of simplicity. And yet, this classic isn't entirely stuck in the past. It seamlessly integrates a few thoughtful modern conveniences, like the Marshall speaker for your tunes and a custom cup holder arrangement. Touches that the original owner back in 1970 would likely have no idea what to do with, but that, undeniably, make today's adventures just a bit more comfortable. Powering this authentic experience is the venerable 2.3-liter inline-four engine, producing a modest but reliable 70-plus horsepower, channeled through a 4-speed manual gearbox, with overdrive and a 2-speed transfer case. The seller notes it can comfortably cruise at 60 mph, though, in true vintage Land Rover fashion, the transfer case does leak a bit, a beloved quirk that, as the adage goes, simply lets you know there are fluids in it. But beyond these general charms, the true appeal of this specific example lies in the frankly exhausting, yet incredibly meticulous level of restoration it has undergone. With a new frame, an overhauled powertrain from gearbox to axles, fresh brakes, a gleaming stainless steel exhaust, rebuilt instrumentation, and a host of extras from specialists like Rovers North, you'd be forgiven for thinking, based on its pristine underside, that it was brand new. This comprehensive overhaul truly makes this Land Rover Series IIA potentially one of the most reliable vintage Landies out there. But reliability, while certainly a bonus, isn't really what makes these vehicles so genuinely lovely. The enduring appeal is in driving a machine that demands a certain level of mechanical sympathy, a willingness to get your hands dirty, and a readiness for self-sufficiency. They are such simple machines that it's easy enough to diagnose the latest stumble and then sort it out yourself, fostering that very spirit of independence and capability you might have needed to cross the Kalahari, navigate the Amazon, jungle, or simply enjoy a true, unadulterated drive. This Land Rover is not just transportation. It's an invitation to adventure, to connect with history, and to embrace the old-school cool that few modern vehicles can emulate. What are your thoughts on this authentically old-school Landie? Do you prefer the raw simplicity of the Series IIA, or the modern luxury of current Land Rovers? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into classic 4x4 culture, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more exciting automotive content, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next expedition.